what is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. We got some drop-ins going on there. And today is the NFL Week 18 Beast Picks. Joining me once again, Rainy 48 and drinks the...
We finally made it.
Finally made it.
That's a non-gonna-get-in-trouble Buffalo Bills logo because they didn't actually pay the Bills for the logo, so it's supposed to be their logo.
Kind of looks like a Cleveland Brown logo.
Yep, yeah, my buddy the other day thought it was a Browns logo.
Didn't make it red enough. But yeah. We last week both went 10-6 in different ways. Got some right, got some wrong, and the flip side ways on the way we picked. But nonetheless, this is the final week of the regular season, where it's all division games, but obviously there's going to be a lot of resting, still very big playoff implications for
a lot of playoff implications,
but also a lot of people playing for spoilers. So yeah, I don't know if we have do you have the playoff map or the playoff board too? So we can, if we have to go.
Kansas City has locked in the first round bye.
We know that.
Buffalo is locked in the second seed.
Yep, we know that.
Baltimore and Pittsburgh are playing for that division.
Yep, they're still
Houston has locked in the 4 seed.
Yeah, we know that.
They cannot go any further. They cannot go any higher.
We know that.
Currently, the Chargers and the Broncos are playing for 6 and 7 with...
Now, is that possible for one of them to get that, or is it the Broncos just playing for the 7th at this point? Or can they move up?
I don't know if they can technically move up. Okay, it is... Denver's the only team that can lose the playoff spot.
Denver's
and it's Cincinnati and Miami, they're alive.
Yeah, so it's the Steelers and the Chargers. You're trying to figure out who gets the wild card. Unless the Steelers wins the division, then the Ravens would get moved down.
And in the NFC, the playoffs are officially set, besides the seeding. The Rams cannot go any higher. Well, they're not officially set. Tampa Bay, Atlanta is still open.
It's open for the division, yeah.
Minnesota and Detroit could still, either of those teams could take the number 1 seed.
Number 1 seed in the division, and then the other one would get the 5th seed.
The 5th seed.
14-win team getting the 5th seed. Yeah, guys, that's what we're going for.
The Commanders and Packers are both tied at 11-5.
I'm still pissed.
They can switch that around.
Switch that around, yep.
I mean, now if you're the Packers, I feel like you would rather get the 7th seed, right?
No,
or the 6th seed.
I would want the 6th seed at this point because we would play the Rams, which I still think the Rams is the better matchup for us. We
can the Rams fall to 4?
That's a good question. Maybe
the Rams might be able to fall to 4 with a Tampa win.
Maybe.
But the only team still alive is the 8-8 Atlanta Falcons.
If the Falcons win and the Bucks lose and the Falcons win the division, then that's pretty much it for the Rams would stay where they are, guaranteed. But yeah, but that's basically the scenario here. And again, we have the Bengals possibly, the Dolphins possibly, are the only teams I think that are still alive that can take the Denver spot.
Indy lost last week.
Yeah, Indy lost last week, so they're done. So yeah. That is where this is, and they rearranged the schedule. Well, it was to be determined to begin with, but schedule has it. The first game is Saturday. Cleveland Browns at the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore. Just wanted to make sure this is actually on ABC, and I think the other game will be on ABC too. But I just wanted to double check.
The other game is also on ABC and ESPN.
Yep. All right.
Thank you. Throw that flag.
All right, guys. So yeah, Baltimore Ravens, I am imagining, are the heavy favorites in this game.
Historic. Minus 20.5.
I gotta see this. Holy shit.
The line just keeps rolling here. I feel like at some point I have to play the Browns with points.
Well, I know the Browns, and I think we're agreeing on that. We know for sure the Browns are losing the game. But the Ravens are definitely starting because they have to still win their division.
Yeah, so here's my thing. If the Ravens are up by 14 at the half, how do you not pull your starters?
Depends on how competitive the Browns are. If they are, which I'm not saying they will be, but if it gets into that, matchup where they somehow are actually playing competitively, then there might be a concern for them to, stay in there. But nonetheless, I do kind of think at the half they probably will pull their start because I think it will be like 21 points.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 30-3. I think they easily beat them. I don't think the Browns are going to be competitive all in this game. So I could see them pulling. Lamar Jackson, the MVP race that they're going for here with this whole thing, Josh Allen versus Lamar. I think Josh should get it. And if we're basing it on merits right now, Lamar Jackson should have won league MVP last year if we're going strictly based on stats because Dak Prescott had better numbers than him.
And so did Josh Allen.
But that's not. But they used the interception thing against him. That's why he didn't get it last year.
They used the wins against him. Baltimore had more wins.
But yeah, the turnovers didn't help you.
But what the problem is now that Buffalo's got more wins, the Ravens fans don't want to hear it. So I'm calling the upset here.
Wait, you think the Browns are going to win?
No, they're just going to stay within the amount of points.
The upset. I think wins here.
Yeah, I would take the Browns and the points. I'm going to say it's 21-13.
So do you think they're not going to pull their starters then?
I think they're going to pull their starters. I think they're going to be up like 21-0 at half. And then it's just like they slowly chip away at it, but they don't make anything that's like a concern.
Defense will probably still be in there, but Lamar will be out.
They have such a deep defense, I think it'll be fine. Give me 21-13. If you're a betting person, take the Browns plus the points. But the Ravens will win this game.
All right. 8 o'clock, Cincinnati Bengals at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now this is, again, as we said, big playoff implications. Bengals are still mathematically alive, so they have something to play for. Steelers, they're in the playoffs, but they have a chance to still get the division, depending on how the Ravens game goes later on. What's the favorites here first?
So the favorites in this one are the Bengals minus 2.5.
So now this is an interesting scenario because the Steelers are mathematically in the playoffs here. If the Ravens win the game early on, because then they would be the next one up, do you have the starters be pulled for the Steelers going behind that, or do you keep them? Do you want
to play the Ravens in the first round?
That's a good point because they're right now the 6th.
That's the thing. I think what they have to realize is even so, they're the 5.
They're the 5.
They're the 5. Baltimore's the 3.
So they would play.
They would play Houston.
They would play Houston. So
I would 100% rather see the Texans in the first round than the Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you would want to beat the Bengals here. You would want to try to beat them and with your starters and stuff like. Yeah, that's an absolute good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I think the Steelers are.
Let's be fair. The worst case scenario for Pittsburgh is injuries to the starters. But if you lose anyways, no matter who your starters are, do you really think you're getting past the Baltimore Ravens?
Unless you have kicker slumps like they did the first time they play them.
I think you're better off hoping that the Chargers or the Broncos can knock them off, being a team that they haven't seen yet. I don't have faith in Pittsburgh knocking off Baltimore. I think Pittsburgh has to play them. I think they have to play them hard. And I'm going to say they get it done. I'm going to say the defense tightens up. The defense has been the strong point all year. Give me them winning 17-13.
I do think the Steelers are going to play with Reckman with Band. Regardless of what the scenario is, I think they would be playing their starters regardless of this, of wanting to play the Houston Texans. But I think that's even more fuel because the Steelers have stunk the last couple of weeks. They, I believe, have 3 straight losses now. They have 3 consecutive losses. And they're all to, playoff caliber teams. Mike Tomlin has been getting criticized the last couple of weeks. Criticism that I don't agree with, by the way. I think Mike Tomlin's going to have them all on. Everyone's only talking about the Bengals. No one's talking about the Steelers. They're going to say, they're one and done again. They're going to get in the playoffs and they're going to slump again.
And even more so, if you're Mike Tomlin, you're a playoff team and they're counting you out already. You got to use that as bulletin board.
You got to use that as fuel. I got Pittsburgh. I got them winning big. I'm gonna, the Bengals barely beat the Broncos, and the game should have not even gone to overtime. There was terrible clock management in that game. and they almost blew it because they almost got a tie, which would have helped the Broncos get in the playoffs. A tie would have gotten the Broncos in the playoffs. Pittsburgh Steelers wins this game big. I'm going to say it's 31-14. They easily knocked the Bengals out of the playoffs.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, 1 o'clock Sunday. Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons.
The Falcons are a 7.5-point favorite.
Well, all I can say is that 7 points could have gone wonders if they hadn't clock management on the 2-minute drill and could have beaten the Commanders last week. But we all know where that went. Anyways, yeah, I think the Falcons do win. I don't necessarily know if they're going to still win that division, but I do think they will win here. I think it will be close. The Panthers didn't look good last week, but I think the Falcons are good enough to beat the Panthers. And I think they will win this game. I'm going to give it a 24-16 victory for the Falcons.
Give me the Panthers.
You just keep picking the Panthers.
Yeah.
It's over.
I mean, not only just picking the Panthers, but not picking the Falcons, because the Falcons continue to screw me.
That clock management was horrible.
You know what? For as much as you want to say, Carolina ran into a buzzsaw of a team that knew they needed to win in Tampa.
I was talking about the Falcons, though.
But
clock management.
But what I'm saying is when you said that Carolina didn't look good last week, they didn't look bad. Offensively, they had a really good game. They just ran into a very hungry Tampa team. Atlanta's going to try to run the clock out, but I think that the Panthers are going to have a better shot of staying with them. Give me the Panthers 24, the Falcons 21.
All right. And now, like we talked about the Houston Texans, that's the next game. Houston Texans at the Tennessee Titans.
This is a team you're benching all your starters.
But that's what I say. You bench the starter. I mean, they got nothing to gain here. It's division rivals.
Nothing to gain, nothing to lose. You can't lose a spot. Give me the Titans.
Who's the favorite?
Titans are a 1.5-point favorite.
Titans are the favorite? Okay.
Give me the Titans. Houston already hasn't looked great defensively the last couple weeks. You're not going to see your starters in Houston. I mean, Tennessee, these guys are playing for a job still, if we're being fair. So, yeah, give me the Titans. Give me the Titans 31-14.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to say it's ugly, but I just can't trust. I don't know who's the quarterback for the Titans.
Mason Rudolph still.
Yeah.
I almost wore my Mason Rudolph jersey today.
I don't know. I'm not really confident in either of the quarterbacks right now. I'm going to say Houston gets it. I think it's going to be ugly. I don't think it's going to be that good of a game. It's not going to be a game we're going to remember. I'm going to say it's a 16-13 game for Houston to win this game. Next, the New Jersey Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles.
The Eagles are a 3-point favorite.
Yeah, and we know the Eagles are resting a lot of their starters. Everybody, including Barkley, who had a chance to get the record.
I don't know about the defense, but here's the thing, man. They're not even playing their backup quarterback.
Well, he didn't play that good either.
But the third string quarterback is coming in.
Yeah.
Give me the Giants. Drew Lock has already cost that team the first overall pick once. He's really going to double down and get another win here. Give me the Giants.
Well, he wants to be a starter.
He does, you're right. Give me the Giants 24-20.
Yeah, for me here, Hurts is obviously still with the concussion. I don't know if he's cleared, but he wasn't going to play no matter what if he was cleared or not today, because they won last week.
Well, I mean, I guess I can't jump on he's clear. Let's look at Cedric Tillman from Cleveland.
Yeah. So, regardless, he was not going to play whether he was cleared or not for this game, especially since they won last week with their backup against the Cowboys to lock up the division. But, I don't know. I don't know. Something tells me the Eagles will still win, and I think these games are just gonna be ugly. I give you the ugly victory, 2017 Eagles.
I want you to understand that I've been reviewing routes for Johnny Wilson this week for betting props. Do you know who Johnny Wilson is?
For who? For which team?
He's the 6th string wide receiver for the Eagles.
The Eagles?
Because that's the way betting's going to work this week. You're going to have to win off of unknowns.
Six string receiver, so that means he's like a kickoff return guy then.
Yeah, but he'll be starting this week.
All right. All right, so this is the first game we have where there's really next to no playoff implications. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Indianapolis Colts. Still got to talk about it regardless.
Wait, you said first without playoff implications?
Yeah, because they don't have any playoff
Correct.
implications.
Colts are a 5-point favorite.
Yeah, both teams not having playoff implications. So, obviously they're going to be starting their starters. Not that it matters. Wait, actually, no. I'm sorry. Is Joe Flacco playing? Because he was playing last week.
Due to an injury.
So is he playing this week?
I don't know yet.
Don't know. Okay.
AR-15 Anthony Richardson is still listed on the injury report. If I had to guess, you're shutting him down for the year. It's probably going to be Flacco.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot going on.
Yeah, not going on. I'm going to give it to the Colts, especially if Joe Flacco's playing. He did play okay last week despite some other issues that happened in the game. It's against Jacksonville, and this probably could be Joe Flacco's last game ever because there's rumors that he might be retiring. So I think they go out swinging. Flacco goes out swinging. 27-13 Colts.
I'm going the opposite way here. It's another proving ground game. You got to prove that you belong in the league still if you're Mac Jones. So you got
Mac Jones is a backup.
He's the starter.
Well, he started this week.
He has been starting.
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence been out the last couple weeks. I believe his contract is up.
They've been bad so much no one's really cared.
You got to prove that you belong still, Mac. And in
Jones.
that scenario, he might have one more year, but still, in that scenario, you got to do something. I'm going to say that they win it. It's an ugly game. 24-17.
You think Doug Peterson's still there?
Yes. And the only reason I say that is you don't want to use injuries as an excuse, but that might be the most unlucky team in the league this year. At one point in time, they were starting 3 wide receivers who shouldn't have been on anybody's roster.
Yeah.
And that was even after they lost Trevor Lawrence. So Mac Jones is still throwing 250-yard games with what?
Nothing.
The Georgia Bulldogs wide receivers?
No, nothing.
I think the Georgia Bulldogs wide receivers would even be... He had Brian Thomas, that's it.
Well, just bring out, I guess, MJF then.
Yes. Yeah, sign MJF. He'll at least make it entertaining.
Bring out MJF. He'll do it.
Chris Jericho. Hi, guys.
Yeah, he'll be on the list, and he'll do some better stuff for Jacksonville.
I mean, at least with Chris Jericho, you get the learning tree, and Big Bill's 6'9". He could be a left tackle.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, Washington Commanders at the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know how we missed it.
I thought we missed a 1 o'clock game, and I couldn't figure out what it was, but going back, it was definitely that. The Commanders are a 6-point favorite.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say the Cowboys upset them.
Just because you want to move ahead.
Yes, I do. But also, the Commanders have kind of gotten lucky these past couple of weeks. If the Eagles player doesn't drop the pass, they do not win that game against the Eagles. And then of course the Falcons clock management was horrible, which cost the Falcons that game. So the Commanders are kind of beatable. And the Cowboys haven't played that bad in some of these games, despite some terrible losses they've had. And also Mike McCarthy probably wants to save his job too. So Dallas Cowboys, I think, wins. I'm going to give it 26-14, Dallas.
I'm going with the Commanders, 24-10. Cooper Rush, he's not it.
Okay. All right. My team now. We have the Chicago Bears at Green Bay Packers.
Oh, I thought you were going to tell me your team was the Bears.
No, I road team first, and then I do the home team. That's how I read it off.
The Pack is a 10-point favorite.
Yeah, we should be, but we lost to the Vikings, and
now you're going to really face defeat when they lose to the Bears.
We're not losing to the Bears.
I'm also not picking them to lose to the Bears. I'm being sarcastic.
Okay.
I would have to be on some serious drugs to be picking them to lose to the Bears.
Yeah, the Bears, I believe we're going to beat them much better than we did last time, where we had to block a field goal to beat them. But we definitely, I think, will beat them. But, we still got a lot of problems, like with the Vikings and stuff like that. That game, not making excuses, but the field goal right before the half should not have been a miss. It should not have been a miss.
Listen. The only good news is, when we get to the NFL draft, you know what you can tell us all again?
Green Bay Packers have the draft?
No. You need a receiver!
Well, we need those too. We do need those. We need a lot of things. And hopefully our GM will actually pick a skill position.
I have a question for you. Are you no longer mad at Josh Jacobs?
I like Josh Jacobs.
You hated that signing when Aaron Jones
Because we got rid of Aaron Jones.
I mean, I think Josh Jacobs is wonderful for
And
him.
Josh Jacobs is kind of more like an A.J. Dillon, who's like more of a brawl. He's more of a brawler running back.
No. Josh Jacobs is a very well-rounded back.
He's more of a power back.
No.
He's a power back.
It's not Darren McFadden. He can catch the ball pretty... Listen, that was one of the better signings you guys could have had this year. You had a very strong draft in the secondary.
Well, also didn't help that he fumbled at the beginning of the game. That's another thing that hurt us in the game against the Vikings at the beginning, though, too. That really hurt our momentum.
If there's one other reason that you should win, if I'm the Bears, I am trying out every young player I have. You got to let these young kids try it out and prove that they have something going into next year. Granted, they're going to take their lumps. Give me Green Bay 35, Chicago 10.
Yeah, Packers should easily beat this game. We should easily win this game, I should say. I'm going to say 34-14. Easily get it done. Explosive stuff. I don't think Christian Watson's playing in this game.
He's still on the injured list, but he hasn't been ruled out to my knowledge.
I wouldn't play him because you don't want to get him worse injured for the playoffs. So I wouldn't even try to play him here. Obviously, Alexandra is done for the season.
Unless they make the
Super Bowl, which that's.
Hey, don't forget the Josh Allen curse, or the Jim Kelly curse.
I still think
that would bode well for you.
But I don't buy into that curse.
But if that's a real curse.
Because then what about the people that won the Super Bowl once and never
It has nothing to do with winning. It's saying if you win a Super Bowl, your name goes down in infamy. You won a Super Bowl, you were 1-1 in the Super Bowl, or 1-1 in the Super Bowl. It's saying guys that have gone in and lost after Jim Kelly's final Super Bowl appearance with the Bills.
Yeah, but I know, but you're just making a statistic for the sake of because John Elway went to 3 in the 80s and lost, and that doesn't count now.
It doesn't because it was people who had their first Super Bowl after Kelly's last appearance.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like you're making the Kelly thing,
which makes him grandfathered. I don't make the rules; it's just a pattern. But it would work for you if you were Jordan. I mean, it wouldn't work because if you face the Bills and Josh Allen, and one of you has to win and you would lose, and then you wouldn't get back with Jordan Love. So,
well, unless they break the curse. But yeah, like I said, Packers 34-14. Go Pack, go Pack, go! We gotta get the playoff. You gotta hopefully.
I gave you your win already.
Hopefully we beat. Hopefully we play the Rams. Hopefully something happens and we end up playing the Rams. That's the best case scenario. We have to play the Eagles. I'm kind of scared, but there's a possibility.
I think you'd rather see the Bucs.
The Bucs? We haven't played them all season.
I think you'd rather see the Bucs.
I'd rather play the Rams. We beat them in their stadium.
Remember what I told you about the Rams? Oh, you did? Okay, you won in the stadium at least.
Yeah, we won in the stadium, though.
They do play better on artificial turf, though.
Yeah.
It's not like you're hosting the game.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know. Like, we haven't played Tampa, so that's what scared me. Like, we haven't really played them this season, so I don't know. But speaking of the Buccaneers, we do have the New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Might be the end of the Saints as we know it. The Bucs are a 14-point favorite, 13.5. And plain and simple, give me the Bucs. We're not going to see Derek Carr. We're not going to see Alvin Kamara. You're not going to bring Alvin Kamara back for a meaningless game. Let him get healthy. This is the only team in the league that is worse off at wide receiver than the Jaguars. If I asked you to name one wide receiver on that team that isn't named Marquez Valdes-Scantling, could you do it?
No. I
unfortunately can name 3 of them, and it's because I gamble too much. But if I gave you these 3 names, you might think I'm making them up anyhow. Kevin Austin Jr., Mason Tipton, and Cedric Wilson Jr.
Yeah, no.
Nope, they all 3 exist. They're all...
Oh, no, I believe you. Saints have been so forgettable this year.
Yeah,
we haven't really paid attention to
It's another team that can't avoid injuries. You lost Chris Olave for the year halfway through with a concussion. Some of these concussions have been bad this year, man. We've seen 3 players done for the year with concussions.
Yeah, they're bringing back the Inks. The bags.
Oh, I mean, do you blame them? I mean, they should.
Inks.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints, for the fact that they got away so many years with drafting well, have just had piss-poor draft class the last couple. Yeah. They were good forever because they drafted well and they could manage the cap. And now they're overspending and can't even manage the cap, and they just have Derek Carr to show for it.
Sean Payton leaves, then there's problems.
Give me Tampa Bay 27, New Orleans 3.
Yeah, Tampa Bay is going to win this game. I'd be shocked if they lose. If they lose, it's more on Tampa than it is on the Saints being good. But I don't see how Tampa Bay loses this game unless it's on them. Buccaneers, give me 28-6.
I just want to say, as we're watching the bowl game happening right now, that is the most professional quarterback name I've ever heard. Jackson Dart. Because, he's throwing darts.
Yep. All right. Your team is up. Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots.
The Bills are a 2.5-point favorite. Josh Allen's getting at least a drive. I truthfully...
Well, he wants to start because he wants to keep the start.
Yes, I truthfully think they're going to give him a quarter. I think they're going to give the rest of the starters a half. You know why? The thing nobody's talking about. They're all talking about...
The rust?
No. They're all talking about Josh. Josh has done in the MVP race. And nothing against Josh Allen. But did you know that another O.J. Simpson record can be broken this week?
For Cooks?
Yes.
Oh.
James Cook can tie his rushing touchdown record with 1 and break it with 2 this week.
Oh, yeah.
In a single season.
Single season touchdown record.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cook is at 15.
Now, does that count with receiving touchdowns or is it
It's
just rushing?
only rushing.
Just rushing touchdown, okay.
James Cook is at 15. OJ was at 16. Cook can get punched in 2 to get to 17. So I do really think you're going to see Josh kind of be the team player. Yeah, he wants to get out there, wants to start. But I think if they get close, you're not going to have Josh on push. You're not going to have these toss him up to Keon Coleman. You're going to see get James.
He wants to win. He wants to win the game. Like, I mean, he could have.
It's not even wants to win the game.
Like, you remember the last week there was like a play where he could have thrown a touchdown pass or he could have ran it himself because Cook was stopped on the 1 yard line. He could have done the tush push right there, and he said, "No, I'm going to give it to Cook."
Who was it?
Get the touchdown.
Khalil Shakir. They dialed up a play. I think it was 4 weeks ago now to Shakir, and he looks at him on the goal or on the sideline before they got the ball back and goes, "If we get down there, how do you want to score?" He looked at Shakir and goes, "How do you want to score?" Shakir goes, "I want a double reverse in front," and they ran the play Shakir asked for,
and he got it.
Yes, Josh is a man of the people. So I think Josh, if Josh knows his boy James Cook can win it. They're going to let him do it. I'm
going to tell you right now, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and even Saquon Barkley.
Saquon absolutely belongs in that.
If you were to ask them, if I get the league MVP or I get a Super Bowl championship, what are they going to say? They're going to say Super Bowl championship.
I'm being honest. If I were the MVP voter, especially if Sirianni doesn't, even the fact that Sirianni is benching him, I think my vote goes Saquon.
Well, I mean,
he should have already broken the record.
17 games.
He should have already broken it in 16.
How? He didn't do it.
3 different times they pulled him this year. They gave him the option. Do you want to stay in? He said no. Get other guys reps. 3 different times he went on record having said that. That's a guy who is a team member. He's not out here going, I have to break the record. The one game there, I think it was the first Giants game. It was the first Giants game because he could have broken the single game record for yards. He was almost at 200 at the half. And he goes, no. Let Kenny and Will get the rock. He is a big team player, and I respect that about Saquon. So my vote would have gone Saquon. You don't see that season.
I still think it's a possibility that there'll be a co MVPs. This is the first time where we have 3 real good favorites. Usually it's like a landslide. It's usually like 49.
But I would even say there's 4. If it's MVPs and who if it's MVPs and who means the most to their team, Jared Goff has been phenomenal for Detroit this year.
I don't know.
I would put Jared Goff in the discussion.
Turnovers a lot. I've heard people say Sam Darnold even.
I could get on board with Darnold. I think he's in the equation.
I think he's not bigly established because he actually has more. I think he had they were showing some stats for he has actually more passing yards. Than them.
So fun fact regarding 4 of those guys that we just named.
Yeah.
Did you know the 2018 draft class? Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Saquon Barkley, Sam Darnold. All on that draft class.
Yes, this is his first good year, though.
But it's now being regarded as one of the best top 20s of all time. 6 years removed from that draft class, only 4 people out of that top 20 have not been a Pro Bowler. 16 of 20 players have been voted to Pro Bowls. A 17th got paid lucrative money last year. But because he's at a dime a dozen position, he's an offensive tackle. Yep. Usually in the Pro Bowl, left tackles are the only ones voted in, and you've got a left tackle playing both sides.
Yep.
He's a great right tackle, and he got paid a ton of money this past offseason. Yeah. In Mike McGlinchey, but
like I said, I think there's a possibility for Co. Because it's 50 votes, and you can get a tiebreaker on that because it's happened twice. It's happened twice. It happened in 97. Last time it happened was in 2003. So it can definitely happen. But getting to the game, I do think the Bills win. Even after they pull the starters, I think they will win. I think it's going to be I'm going to give it 30. I'm going to give it a 30-20 victory. I mean, it's a 10-point game.
I'm going to say 31-10, and the only reason I'm saying that is I think if they're going to give Josh a quarter, let's say, Josh is going to try to go for 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdown passes?
He's going to try to get 3 touchdowns for the team on the board in the first quarter. That's the one thing everybody shit-talked him for. He didn't look good against New England. That gave the game. Okay, come out. You're still playing New England starters. Hawk 3.
So you think he's going to have 3 touchdown passes?
I think the team will have 3 touchdown passes before they pull him.
No, but will Josh?
Well, I think the team will have 3. I think the team will have 3 total touchdowns on offense.
So not necessarily.
No, I could see him having all passing touchdown, and the 2 rushing to James Cook. But I could see them getting up big to start.
All right, all right, okay. So there we go. That's for that. All right. So now we're in the 4 o'clock games. We got 4:25. Got the LA Chargers at the Las Vegas Raiders.
The Chargers are a 4-point favorite.
Yeah, the Chargers, I seeding possibilities here still with the Steelers, depending on what happens in their games with the Ravens and stuff like that. So this is implications for them. I'm going to say the Chargers win it. Raiders obviously don't really have anything going for them. Harbaugh's going to get them, ready and rolling. And so I'm going to give the Chargers. I'm going to say it is 24-14.
Here's the wild one of the week. I'm going to say the Raiders win it. Hear me out here. If Pittsburgh wins on Saturday night, even with a Denver victory, the Chargers cannot go up or down. The Chargers have the tiebreaker. They've beaten Denver twice. They cannot move up or down.
And they lost to Pittsburgh, so the Steelers have the tiebreaker. Because they played a bit ahead.
If Pittsburgh loses,
they would have a 7
they can jump ahead because they're tied with Pittsburgh.
But if Pittsburgh wins the day before,
they're done. Yes. So if Pittsburgh wins the day before, I think, and the fact that we called them to do it, I'm gonna go with the Raiders. I'm not gonna say it's an easy game. Give me the Raiders 21, the Chargers 16.
This is the next 425 game, and no playoff implications for this one, but they're going to play out of respect. Division rivals, San Francisco 49ers at the Arizona Cardinals.
The Cardinals are a 4.5-point favorite.
And it might be because Purdy's not playing, but...
Is Purdy not playing?
He's not playing, no. They're playing, I forget what his name, Dobbs, the guy who used to
Josh Dobbs?
Yeah, the guy who used to play for Vikings.
I didn't know Dobbs was playing. Did Purdy get hurt? He did. He hurt his elbow.
He hurt his elbow. If it was for playoff implications, he probably would start. But since there's no playoff implications, there's no point in him playing this game. So they're having the backup play. It could go either way.
It really could, because you know who the starting running back is for the Cardinals?
Who is it?
Michael Carter.
Michael Carter. Okay. Look. The Cardinals have disappointed me. They couldn't beat the Rams last week, so I'm going to say the 49ers looked good last week against the Detroit Lions. And I know we're going to have a different quarterback in there, but...
No, Dobbs played the end of the game and punched in a touchdown.
Well, yeah, but Purdy played Purdy played at a high level for the majority of the game.
He did, but then Dobbs came in and didn't look like he didn't skip a beat.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'd be even more Italian to say the 49ers. Cardinals have been really a disappointment. So I'm going to say San Francisco wins it. I'm going to say it is 24-17, 49ers.
I'm going to go with the Cardinals. And my sole reason here is I feel like that team wants to rally around their coach. The coach has not been bad all year. And you want to prove, like, hey, look, we were a game away from 500. The Cardinals, for being a team that shouldn't have been able to beat many people this year, had a pretty good year. Give me Arizona 20. Arizona 20, San Fran 14.
Okay, now this next one is an interesting matchup. 425, you got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Denver Broncos, and I say it's an interesting... Well, first of all, do
the Broncos are a 10.5-point favorite.
Yeah, so here's the interesting scenario here. The Chiefs obviously are pulling most of their starters. They're obviously starting Carson Wentz, your favorite guy, over Patrick Mahomes. The Broncos obviously have to play to keep their playoff seeding alive. But it's a really interesting dynamic because a lot of people brought this up, is that do the Chiefs want the Broncos in, or do they want to prevent the Bengals from coming in? So, but they're also starting Wentz. So obviously, I think they are trying. They're going to try to win the game, even if Mahomes is not in there. But I think it's an interesting. I just think it's an interesting scenario to be in. Where are you leaning towards?
It's Denver all day. I don't think the Chiefs care. It doesn't change how they play at all. And the old adage is, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in a year. You beat the Broncos already. If the Broncos do get lucky and get through, you've technically got a loss on to the Broncos at your hands already. A lot less concern. I think the Broncos are going to win. I don't think they have to worry, quite honestly, because, yes, Miami could be a concern, but if they get to that point, and obviously they'll know if the Bengals won or not, they'll play desperation. I thought they should have honestly beat the Bengals last week.
Well, that's because the Bengals gave it away in regulation. More or less.
And overtime again.
Yeah, overtime, they only needed to tie the game. They didn't even need to win that game. They would have been in the playoffs. They were saying that in the scenario.
You're right, but they didn't get the points.
Yeah.
I'll go with the Broncos 27. The Broncos 27, Chiefs 3.
I'm going to say the Chiefs upset the win here. I'm going to say they're going to win it. The Chiefs, man, they pissed me off all year because the Bills are the only team that have beaten them. But despite the fact that Wentz is playing, they haven't seen this guy all year. I think there's going to be some guys that are playing that aren't, because they can't play everybody, but they can't not play everybody. But I think the Chiefs do still win this game. I'm going to say, which is going to play a very interesting scenario, especially if the Bengals get knocked out. You picked the Steelers to win too. So, yeah, if we both think that, it's going to create interesting scenarios for the Dolphins. But I'm going to say the Chiefs win it. I'm going to say 20-13. Chiefs get it done. Next 4:25 game is Seattle Seahawks at the LA Rams.
That is... The Seahawks are a 6.5 point favorite.
And this is also go to the fact that the Rams are probably not starting anymore.
The Rams are starting Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, so they're starting Jimmy Garoppolo. And Seattle, obviously, they're out of the playoffs because they didn't win they won, but the Rams won, so they didn't strength of matchups or whatever. Now, again, the Rams still have seeding issues in terms of where their position from the third or the fourth. But at the end of the day, I think they still try to play this. Garoppolo is a quality starting quarterback, despite his injury faults the past couple of years. And obviously, he wants to still try to do something here, so I could see him trying to win this game. I'm going to say the Rams win it 23-13. I think they beat the Seahawks.
I'll go with the Rams as well. Seattle, I had no hope in this year.
Yeah, let's not forget they only beat the Bears 6-3.
To be fair, did you watch that game?
Not really.
It was pissing rain.
Yeah, but
that game did not benefit anybody on offense. It was very tough to get anything going. But I'm going to go with the Rams here. I think the Rams have a lot of talent there in the secondary, the backup. Rookie Blake Corum is going to be able to run the ball well. They've got a couple nice young pieces at receiver. The fact that Tutu Atwell is going to be a starting receiver with people benched is not a bad sign. Give me the Rams 14, Seahawks 10. It's an ugly game.
All right, now the next game is the last 4:25 game, and it's the Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets.
Basically a pick 'em. 1 point for the Dolphins.
1 point. Now this is an interesting scenario because if my scenario comes out for people, we didn't talk about this, but the scenario basically is if Denver loses.
And the Bengals.
The Bengals lose. No. If the Broncos lose and the Dolphins win, they get in the playoffs. It doesn't matter what the Bengals do. If the Dolphins lose, if the Broncos lose and the Dolphins lose, and the Bengals won the previous day, they get in. That's how they get in. They get in on the third. If they all lose, like if all three of them lose, the Broncos get the playoff spot. That's basically the scenario. So it is kind of interesting that they put the Bengals the day before these Sunday games, but also it's because of the Steelers' whole thing with the Ravens. But that's kind of how that scenario goes. But if it goes the way I think it will go, and the Bengals lose, and then the Broncos lose, obviously the Dolphins are then at that point, well, they're playing for it anyways because they're the second place winner if the Broncos get in, if they don't get in. But it's interesting because also I don't know if Tua is playing because he didn't play last week.
Yeah, but they looked better without him.
Well, yeah, but it was the Cleveland Browns.
It was Tyler Huntley, though.
Yeah, the former team he played for.
No, not really.
Did he? Or
he was there in the preseason, and he was just on the practice squad.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
He was a Baltimore Raven.
Oh yeah, Huntley. Yeah, that's the guy, Huntley. He's a good backup quarterback. That
he was a Pro Bowler.
He's a guy who could be a starter. He did good against the Packers when Aaron Rodgers was there. I remember that. I remember Huntley. I don't know if he's starting, but at the same time, Aaron Rodgers looked pretty bad against the Buffalo Bills, and I think he's playing this week as well.
He's got to have his last game before he retires.
Well, I don't think he is retiring, by the way. I'm going to say the Jets do it. I'm going to say the Jets win. It goes to Devontae Adams. 27-24, New York Jets. Knock the Dolphins out.
I'm going to go with the Jets as well. Miami has been just ill-inspired all year. The fact they got back to 8-8's impressive. I don't think it's going to matter by then. I think they'll already have been eliminated. This will just be a battle of who's going to give us a little bit more care. Give me the Jets. Jets 18. Dolphins 12.
Oh my God. Scores that. All right. This is the game that's the NBC was going to get no matter what when they freaking seen how the games went last week. 8:20, Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. Both teams are 14-2.
One team will be the 1 seed. One team will be the 5 seed.
5 seed. And it is in Detroit. Who are the favorites here?
The Detroit Lions by 3 points.
Oh, really? I thought it would be a pick'em. On this one, because it's a lot of implications. This is the first time that they've ever had a last week game in the regular decide the first seed. It's never happened like this before between the divisions too, the 2 division teams. So yeah, when it went down, it was unanimous that was going to be NBC's pick for the game that they wanted. But it's going to be an interesting game. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching it. It was close last time when they played. It was the winning field goal for the Lions. It could go either way. I'm tight on this one. Like I'm back and forth on this one right now because Detroit has the field advantage. I'm gonna give it slightly to the Lions, and also Dan Campbell with the 4th down converts. I think will also be a deciding factor as well. If he's as aggressive as he's been. Which I think he's more aggressive than the Vikings are with the 4th downs. So yeah, that's going to be the edge right there. I'd say the Lions are going to win. It's going to be 34-31. Field goal at the end of the game, just like he did to my Packers, unfortunately.
I'm going with the Lions again also. Nothing against Minnesota. They actually played pretty good ball to end the year out. But I really do think Lions are the premier NFC team this year. Give me 35-24.
Yeah.
Detroit.
I mean, and also I would like to bring this scenario up too. In case of a tie, if this actually does go in a tie, the Lions get the division.
Because they have the win.
Because they had the win the previous time, which is why it was important for them to beat the 49ers, which no one brought that up. Because if they didn't beat the 49ers, they would have had one last win, which means they would have had to have beaten the Vikings in this week.
Yeah.
Or they couldn't end in a tie because then the Vikings would get it. So that win does prevent the tie in their favor for the Lions. So they have the tie thing as well for them if it ends in a tie. So yeah, those are all the picks. Make sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that stuff. Also, I do have a Green Bay Packers recap show where I recap the show or recap the game, break down the stats of the Packers specifically, all the key plays and stuff like that. We do have the Spotify again. If you're listening to this now, you already know that. Otherwise, we do have that. Be sure to comment, rate, and all that stuff.
Shout out to Rebel Nomad Hiking Gear. Shout out to Kyle at Chicken Dippin'. Hit him up. Best way to eat chicken wings. Shout out to Jeanette at the Therapy Sessions Buffalo. Nope. The Beauty Parlor. I think that'll do it. That's all I got. Shit, right. Don't forget to spread your wings.
Spread those wings. I'm the S's Ultimate Goku. He's the Reigning 48. We're out of here. See you next week for the playoffs. Peace.